You worry too much. It would never happen. You're just being paranoid. Those are the things that your own family would tell you in order to justify not preparing. Well, I think we all have been there, and I think it's a lot more common than you think. I think there's a lot more families out there that have maybe one spouse that is the prepper head, and the rest of it are just, I just let dad do whatever he wants. That's his little hobby. Or I just let mom do whatever she wants. That's their hobby or whatever. And so on and so forth. I mean, you can prepare. You can turn blue telling them that they need to prepare, but they just won't listen. Now, when it comes to extended family, it gets even worse. Your extended family will actually start gossiping about your mental health, and what state are you in, because that is not normal. I mean, what is it you worry so much? You think society is just going to collapse? You think that hurricanes are just going to come here and FEMA is not going to show up and rebuild everything in 24 hours? You will be surprised at the things that I've heard before. So let's focus now on the family in your house, because a lot of folks do have this issue. In your house, if your significant other and if your children refuse to listen to you, I can tell you what to do. That is not my job. But when I met Mrs. D, she knew exactly who I was. She knew exactly where I came from. She knew exactly my background. She knew exactly how I felt about things around the world. And nothing is just getting better. She knew. She did not interfere. But she was not truly on board. She just let me be. And a lot of you are pretty much in the same boat, right? Well, about a year into our marriage or so, maybe 2 years, I can't remember. She went to Walmart. And there was a power outage in our town. And Walmart didn't have any milk, no cheese, no nothing. All the frozen products were just bad. And she came home all scared. And I said, why are you scared? Well, we don't have milk for tomorrow. And I said, oh, sweetie, we do have milk. And I pull out powdered milk and whatnot, and I make the milk and gallon of milk right there. And she looked at me and she's like, I was wrong. It is necessary to be prepared. And I just said, well, I hope this actually is an eye-opening for you. Ever since then, I'm bored. Not as me, but I'm bored. My son was born and bred into it just like I was. So for him, it's totally a 100% natural. Extended family. And I'm bringing it home and to me so I can give you examples from me. Extended families. You will think that my family, coming from a communist country, my family who owns properties, who own animals, farming and all of that stuff, will be all full of preppers. It is not the case. It is not the case at all. When they move from Cuba to the US, and yes, they do have the homestead life and all of that good stuff, but prepping is a different demon. For them, prepping is like you just being way too paranoid. That's just too much. That would never happen here. Although it happened to them already over there, they refuse to see it in here again because psychologically they cannot deal with a situation that they left a country already. They lost a country and they came here, started from zero. They made it and they're going to lose it again. They can't, just deal with that fact that it is a possibility. So preppers? No, they're not. Homesteaders? Yes. Do they grow food? Yes. Do they raise animals? Yes. All of that. But when it comes to everything else, like having years of food put away, just in case, having extra ammo and all of that. That is a Billy thing that they will say. It is a common theme in my family. It's a Billy thing. He just likes going out, and everything for him is about hunting and fishing, and that's why I made it that way. I made it that way. So when they see my gear, or when they used to see my gear back in Florida, they didn't pay much mind to it. It was like, oh, that's just for his hunting and his camping and all of that stuff. So that's his thing. That's his hobby or whatever. Me and D knew different. I just didn't say anything else. So bear that in mind, that prepping does have a bad connotation to it. Even for those who went already through SHTF, they know what it is. Well, prepping because of television, doomsday preppers, and all of that, like all of that stuff gives people a bad taste in their mouth. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's one of the things that you have to consider. Not everything is about the doing the preparedness. Is about the packaging of the preparedness, if you get what I'm saying. If you camouflage it like I did, that it was like, oh no, that's just my hunting and my fishing, I just have food here because I just don't want to go to the market all the time, and I just rather have food here. And they question a couple of things, but a lot of the times, like, oh well, he just like having a lot of rice and beans at home, just likes to go to the store as little as possible. You got to play it because everybody's different. But if everybody especially in your home, flat out refuses, you have a problem at hand. And this is where things get difficult. Because either your husband or wife refuses flat out to prepare, because they don't want to do that. They rather go and, for women, get their nails done, their hair done, I don't know, wax, go out with their girlfriends, and I don't know, have a cocktail or something. I don't know what women do. And for guys, like, oh, we're just gonna get together and eat chicken wings and watch football, and I don't know, all that stuff. There is a problem, because that is just blind ignorance. Regardless of how you feel, or regardless of the bad connotation that prepping has, things will happen, whether we like it or not. Forest fires are going to happen. Food prices are going to go up, whether we like it or not. I mentioned the other day that we may see ration on fuel. I got a lot of comments there saying that would never happen here. Let the prices keep going up and you will see. You will see. Give it time. It may not be fuel rations per se, but the prices, see what happens, because it's not going down. But you get what I'm saying. As we see all of that, we can't just be an ostrich with the head in the sand and ignoring what is happening. I mean, in Florida, hurricane was a common thing, and people still refuse to buy a generator. People refuse to have a few gallons of water. They refuse. Just that takes too much space. Why am I going to spend $300 or $400 on a generator? That will never happen. FEMA's going to come. That dependency on government will be, for a lot of people, the biggest downfall. And when you have in your house people refusing flat out, you may want to sit that individual, whether it's the wife, whether it's the husband, whether it's the children's, you may want to sit them down and be stern with them and flat out, like, hey, this is happening, whether you like it or not. You can either do it and enjoy it, or you're going to do it without the enjoyment, but you're going to have to put your foot down. The whole idea of your children living in your house and disrespecting one of their parents, like, oh, you crazy, oh, you wear too much, oh, rolling their eyes and whatnot, that should never be allowed. Never. When children's want to do that, well, perhaps that might be time for them to be looking for their own home, because they're living under your roof. You understand what I'm saying? Under your roof. And under your roof, your rules are absolute. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I hope to see you in the next one.